Hi guys, greetings from Bulgaria. I'm Anton and I'm here today with you to record yet another video from our Selenium 4 course. Until now, we talked about how to upgrade from Selenium 3 to Selenium 4. Also, we discussed one of the most awesome features, relative locators. Then I showed you how you can use the new initialization scripts in Chrome Developer Tools protocol integration in Selenium 4 and how you can use it for highlighting elements and show notifications. Then we had a real in-depth video about Selenium IDE and Selenium Grid, the next generation. And in our last video, we talked about geolocation, localization testing, and other advanced types of testing using the CDP protocol integrated into Selenium 4. If you missed some of the videos, so you can rewatch them on the Lambda test channel. So also don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the ring bell so that you get notified when we have new videos. And let me share my screen so that we can proceed with the next video from the series. Today we are going to talk about responsive testing using the CDP API. It's quite interesting. I'm going to show you many exciting stuff. But first, let's discuss actually what is the responsive testing. Many people think about it, that you need just to check. Many people confuse it with cross-browser testing. This is something related, and it means that you need to check the functionality of your website and look and feel on different browsers. This is something that it can really help you. And definitely you need to do that, especially if you are building a website for mobile. You definitely need to check it. If you need to manually verify such websites, it's really essential to check their responsiveness. The responsiveness means that when your website is loaded, it detects the current resolution of the device and the browser, and it's displayed differently. As you can see, this is just one of my demo websites, and as you can see, when I resize the browser, at some point it change the layout of my elements. Another thing that may happen is that many often, actually in an enterprise project that I'm working on right now, we had such task like 2 weeks ago, and when we work with the designers and front-enders, we have this Photoshop-like application where we have, by designers, different resolutions with rearranged elements where not only the elements in their size is different, but also there are different fonts, different font sizes, and this is something definitely that you need to check. Of course, you can use developer tools. Here, as you probably know, you can find information about the computed styles. For example, this particular font, you can go to compute it, and then below you can find, for example, here this is the computed and used font family. This is the font size, font weight, and these are stuff that designers usually put in their designer files that give to the front-enders that need to implement for a different front-end. But of course, you as QA, you need to check all of these properties here. And not only that, many often when you need to verify such layout rearrangements, you need, especially when you are doing pixel perfect testing, there are some extensions for Chrome and other browsers that you can, put directly inside the browser directly, put like a screenshot on top of the currently rendered elements and see whether there are differences or not. However, especially in automated testing, as you will see, through WebDriver, we can calculate these like distances between the elements. For example, we can check that this particular div here is exactly 5 pixels to the left from the second element, and so forth. We can check that all of these elements are aligned horizontally and there are no differences between them. Or when we resize the browser, we can align and check that pixel perfect, that all of these elements and divs here are aligned perfectly vertically, right? This is especially true for example, you need to check that on particular resolutions, this menu is, change functionality and it's actually displays like this. But when you are in this mode, actually, the menu items are somewhere else. Also, it's really important here, and you can emulate mobile devices in Chrome. I'm especially showing you this in Chrome DevTools because later I'm going to show you how you can simulate all of this with code. But as you know, when you click on this mobile icon here, you can choose predefined dimensions, for example, Galaxy Fold, and we can zoom it 100%. This is basically you are simulating the real mobile device, you are emulating it. Also, you can change the layout and so forth. Or you can set custom, you can change it just to responsive, and then you can set custom width and height. So basically, I'm going to show you a code that is checking all of these different, layout perspectives and validating the different pixels. This is what we want to do. This is called layout testing or responsive testing through WebDriver, of course, with Java. You can find below many helpful links in the description, and also all of this code is available for free in our GitHub repo. I'm not going to code it, from scratch because this code is a little bit more complex. And my goal here is not to teach you how to write this, this particular design pattern that I used here for creating this layout testing library, because you can just have simple single methods for the different operations. But I wanted to show you a little bit more elegant code that we use in enterprise projects. But here, the goal is actually to demonstrate and use the CDP, the Chrome DevTools protocol with Selenium 4. So this is what I'm going to do. So I have my chapter 6 module here in Java, and I created this test. Basically, I'm, in the class init, I'm just downloading the particular driver with WebDriver Manager. In a minute, I'm going to show you the setup, but for now, just accept that we have just Chrome browser up and running, and I'm navigating to the same page that I showed you before. Just to separate the assertions from how I find the elements, first I find all of the different components that we are going to compare. For example, this dropdown, the first rocket, the add to cart, this title, and so forth. It's really not so important which elements we are comparing. As I said, this depends on your design from your designer and what you need to check. Here I use a design pattern. It's called builder design pattern. And actually, on a daily basis, probably you use it when you use the Actions API in WebDriver. As you know, there at the end, in order to execute drag and drop, for example, or mouse click and right click, etc., you need at the end to call perform method in order to execute all of these chains of commands. And basically, this is the builder design pattern. And I implemented this layout testing library in the same manner. basically I'm saying my element, whether it's above another element. We're checking, in a minute I'm going to explain how these calculations are working, but basically we base them on, as you know, in WebDriver, we can get the width and the height of each element, right? And also we can get the location. And the location is basically just a point, this point here, basically the left top corner. And we have X and Y, right? X and Y. And we can make these complex calculations using the combination between width, height, X and Y to basically calculate this distance here, this distance here, whether this element is inside this div here, or it's near another. This is what I'm doing in my layout library. And also we can calculate whether the distance is exactly, for example, 42 pixels, or it's greater than 40 pixels, or less than, or percent, it's, you know, sky is the limit. This is what I'm doing. So I expose this above, right, left, a white horizontally. Basically, we're checking just, you know, again, based on the Y and then the width, whether the particular elements are aligned horizontally properly. How I do that? It's, again, you can download the code. It's a little bit more complex, you know, logic. Again, this is not the point of the whole video. You can do this kind of validations in much easier way. I just wanted here to show you the actual calculations, because this is something important, no matter how you assert them, right? So in order to calculate the right-of distance, this is just my like a wrapper around the WebDriver element, where if we open it, you'll see that we have the location, which is the point X and Y, and then we have dimensions, which is the width and height. And basically based on these two elements, these are, for example, the drop down and the image below. From the get location, we have a getter called X, and then we're making these calculations to find out the actual right-of distance, and the same for the left, above, and so forth. You can download it and check how I do this kind of calculations. It's up to you. However, the most maybe interesting part of the video, not geolocation, but responsive testing. Another thing that it may be important for you is that many often, as I said, when we change the resolutions, in a minute I'm going to show you how you can do that with Chrome DevTools. As I said, you want to be able to analyze the font size, the font weight, the font family. As you can see, I created these assert methods here, that whether the text is aligned or not, right? Or the color. This is something, another aspect. Let's, for example, check how we get the font size. Here we just used JUnit, but no matter whether you use TestNG or JUnit, right? I'm just using the assert equals. The interesting part is that, again, this is just the native WebDriver element, and WebDriver exposes this method called getCSSValue. And I'm just basically, this thing here is just the computed, this is the computed style. Basically, if you go here to compute it, this is this name here. This is the, you know, you can get it from here, and it will be most probably the same as in your design document provided by your designers. But yeah, basically I get the font size, the text align, the vertical align, the font family, and so forth, and I'm just, you know, comparing it to the expected value. That's it. Now, how we use Chrome Developer Tools. I showed you how you can do it in the browser, but actually the interesting part, and this is what the video is about, is how you can use it. Now, before checking how to do it, actually here is how you can simulate it like completely what you saw in the emulation mode for mobile devices. Basically, you can set custom width, height, pixel ratio, because on different mobile devices screens, it's a little bit different. So you might want to check this pixel ratio. And as you can see, this is just a map of string and object. Then if you want to use mobile emulation and not just simulate browsers, then you need to initialize this mobile emulation. You need to put it like device matrix, provide this object here. And then additionally to everything, here I overrided the user agent with this mobile emulation. And I set it here for Chrome. This is a way how you can do it with, not with Chrome Developer Tools, but just with built-in Chrome features. Another thing that you can do is that, again, here we're not using Chrome Developer Tools, but this is just native Chrome, all right? Another thing, if you are not using this type of initializations, you can use directly the predefined templates with mobile devices, as you saw on the screen. Let me remind you what this is. Basically, when you start Chrome Developer Tools, from here, if you want to choose from these predefined templates, you can just say device name and the name of the template, and again, provide, instead of this mobile emulation for set experimental options of Chrome. This is how you can do it without Chrome Developer Tools. If you're going to use Chrome Developer, the CDP integration, then you don't need this. And now, how we use it? Of course, first you need to get the DevTools object. We need to cast to Chrome dialog. Then you need to call the get DevTools method. Then you need to create a session similar to how we open the developer tools. And then from the domains getter, you have another getter called network. This is the network domain. And this is how I set the user agent. The user agent is important because it can change sometimes how, the front end of the website. Sometimes front-end developers have some, conditions in their code to change the behavior based on the user agent. Also, another thing is that, let me open the Chrome DevTools protocol docs. So again, if you navigate here and if we open network from here, you will find all of these methods parts that are part of the network domain, right? And right now in my code, I'm going to send a command that is part of emulation because we are emulating mobile devices, right? So keep in mind that set user agent is part of the network domain. And then if we need to send a custom command, it's part of the emulation domain. So we are searching now for emulation. Here it is. And the method is called set device matrix override. I know it's a little bit, hard. Device matrix override. Here it is. And here you can find all of the different parameters and what they mean. I suggest to, not set really the experimental options because many of them from update to Chrome, sometimes they're completely removed. But again, as you can see, you have much flexibility here, what you do. For now, I'm just going to set this 4. And as you can see, there are the first 4 parameters, and the others, if we hover, you will see that basically I'm using optional empty. This is the suggested syntax. This is how they implemented the DevTools protocol, so you need to set all of them. And basically this will start the browser. It will, as you can see here, I'm maximizing it, but it will emulate, again, as you saw in the DevTools, it will emulate this particular resolution. As you can see, it's really custom. And I'm saying that I don't want to emulate mobile devices. And if I want to use DevTools in, for example, Lambda test, why I may want to do that? Because you may say, okay, but these cloud providers, they provide many different resolutions. Why you need to simulate, these different sizes? Again, if you can just simply resize, the browser itself. This is completely fine. But again, especially when you need to simulate mobile, it won't be like completely enough. So probably I suggest to use the emulation. Also, if we go to the Lambda test configurator, and if we open here the resolutions, you will see that actually there are a lot of resolutions, but in my experience, there are many times designers actually put the different, custom resolutions that are not part of this predefined set here. Of course, you're able to, again, change these resolutions here with some parameters, into the capabilities. However, again, it's not really mobile friendly. So this is why it's a really good option that actually in Lambda test now we have Selenium 4 integration. Again, as before, I'm getting my username in this second file here. This is the Lambda test integration. I'm getting the username and access key from environmental variables. Then I'm setting the latest version of Chrome, build version and all of that. Make sure that you use this CDP command here and Selenium version 4. And then, again, when you create the remote driver, don't forget to use the augmenter. You need to augment the remote driver so that you have access to, this gives you access to the DevTools. Then the code is absolutely the same. You get an instance to DevTools, you create a session. Then if you want, you can set the user agent, and then we are overriding and maybe using mobile emulation or any type of other more advanced emulation for the screen, changing the viewport, display feature, and others. Then the rest of the code is absolutely the same. And again, this will work for Chrome and Edge because only these two browsers are using Chromium that provides the Chrome DevTools. This type of command is part of the CDP integration. It's not part of the bidirectional API, which means it's not available for other browsers. I think this was the thing that I wanted to show you in today's video. If you have any questions, you can write a comment or directly submit to the GitHub repo. Next, we're going to talk about troubleshooting tests using the bidirectional API and CDP. We're going to talk about how to inspect and observe elements changes in the DOM. This is really cool new feature that you can do with the CDP integration. We're going to access the console logs and check for JavaScript errors and many other stuff. So don't forget to subscribe and wait for the new video. I hope that this was useful to you. Again, my goal wasn't to show you exactly how this builder pattern works. It will take just too long, but feel free to use it if you want. Of course, you can use the same approach and build a much simpler library. And my goal here was to show you like a more real world scenario, right? So also don't forget to check the Lambda test blog. They have a really nice article about responsive testing and all of other Selenium 4 stuff. Each week they release new articles that are really detailed and awesome. And yeah, you can check the community as well. And don't forget to get your certification about Selenium and JUnit. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.